right? So out here, the thing is, um, yesterday I talked about the different drivers: Firefox driver, Chrome driver, IE driver. Okay, the question which arises, all right, the question which arises is uh, whether you have to learn about all the driver classes separately, or you can learn about them in a single way, right? Because for working on Firefox, the class is Firefox driver. For working with Chrome, the class is Chrome driver. For working with IE, the class is Internet Explorer driver. So for every browser, you have a different driver class. Okay, the question which obviously arises is that will I have to learn every driver separately? If I have a link, if I have to click on a link in Firefox, or if I have to click on a link in Chrome or IE, will I be learning it separately? The answer to that is no. Okay, you don't have to learn that stuff separately. Okay, right. Hold on. What I'll do is that I'll make a new Java project, call it day 2. Okay, and I will explain you about interfaces. The answer to this question lies in the concept of interfaces. I have not taken constructor. I will be taking it up. I'll just mark it in red. Right now, I have not taken up constructors. Okay, I'll be taking it up somewhere in day 5 actually. All right. So now, what is an interface? An interface in Java gives you the basic idea about system. Okay, what the system is going to do, right? Okay, for example, say you have a book. Okay, you go to a bookstore, you choose a book to read. When you look at the cover of the book, okay, just by looking at the cover you come to know what the book is going to give you. So that is an interface. Okay, if you look at our website qtpselenium.com, right? So the welcome page of our website is like an interface to you, which tells you that what our website is offering you. Okay, so similarly we have got interfaces in Java language. The interfaces tell us that what the system is supposed to do, right? For example, just hold on, I'll make a new interface. Okay, right, go to new instead of class, select interface. All right, fine. And I will say call that interface as book. Okay, right. So the interface just gives you an idea about the system. Okay, what the system is supposed to do. Okay, so in the book interface, I will make functions like public void print price. Okay, public void print type. So these are the two functions in the book interface. The functions in an interface do not have the body. Okay, there is no body in the interface. Okay, right. So you just declare the functions in the interface. That's it. Okay, right. So now in Java, the interfaces they are implemented. For example, if I make a new class known as a storybook. Okay, right. So what we will do is that, just a minute, guys. Somebody is not able to join the course. I'm just helping. Yeah. So the storybook class, okay, will be actually implementing the interface. Okay, so we write like this: public class storybook implements book. Now, why do we implement the interface? What is the advantage of implementing the interface? What do you mean by implementing the interface? I'm going to discuss these things. If a class is implementing an interface, okay, interface just gives you the idea that what book is supposed to do. Okay, the book interface. The class has to implement the functions. If the class is implementing an interface, it has to implement all the functions in the interface. Okay, you move your mouse over the error on the interface and select add unimplemented methods. So the methods will be added. Okay, at the rate override, this is an annotation. It's not mandatory to put it, but if you are putting it, right, this means that this function is coming up from this interface. Right, inside it I can write storybook price, something like this, and system.out.print type, you can print story book. So you can give the methods, right? Even if I remove one method, one function from this class, I will start getting an error, because if I am implementing an interface, it becomes mandatory in Java to implement all the functions in the interface. Okay, I can make one more class. Okay, and I will call it, say, um, science book. Right. So this science book will also implement the book interface. So it will have the functions print price and print type. So you can implement them in your own way. You can write over here science book price and science book type. So out here, what I did, I simply had an interface. Okay, right. Print name and print price were two functions in the interface. Right. Okay, right. So out here we have got two classes which are implementing the interface. So if a class is implementing an interface, okay, it it has to mandatorily implement both the functions, print name and print price. Both the function names would be the same, okay, but the implementations can be different. Okay, the function names, they can be same, but the implementations can be different. Now what did you gain out of this? Right, made an interface. I had two classes implementing the interface. Right, so what did I gain out of the complete scenario? I could have simply made the two classes and I could have never made the interface itself. Okay, right. The advantage is if tomorrow some more type of books they come up, say mathematic book or any other book, all the books will be implementing the same interface. Okay, and all the books will have the same type of functions in them. So a layman, if he just looks at the interface, he will come to know what all functions are there inside the implementing classes. So you don't have to worry. Okay, what are the function names in different classes? Function names would be the same. The implementations can be different as per the respective class. Okay, and that's exactly what happens in Selenium as well. If you move over to the official website of Selenium, okay, and if you go to the documentation, then in the documentation, these are all the classes in Selenium. Okay, you don't have to learn all of them. Okay, now whatever is written in italics is an interface. Everything, whatever it is written in italics, is an interface. For example, mouse. Mouse, it's written in italics, it's an interface. Okay, and this interface represents the basic mouse operations. All right, like click and all. Okay, you will have to add, in case you add new functions to an interface, you will have to add the functions in the class as well. They don't get added automatically. Okay, now in Selenium you don't have to make interfaces, everything is inbuilt. You have to understand that fine, this is the interface. For example, everybody has heard the word WebDriver. Okay, if you scroll over here, this is WebDriver. Technically, WebDriver is an interface in Selenium. It's the root interface, and all the driver classes which we have, they implement this interface. Firefox driver, I driver, every driver class. So whatever are the functions in this interface, if you scroll down, you will see functions which help you to interact with the browser. I will tell you about these functions. For example, get title will get you the title of the browser. Right, I'll tell you about these functions. So what happens is that the interface WebDriver is the root and all the classes are implementing classes. So all these classes will have same set of functions. Okay, whether it is Firefox driver or iDriver, right? So yes, you can. Yes, you can implement, a class can implement multiple interfaces. It is possible. You just have to name the interfaces by putting a comma over here, book, then comma the second interface name. Okay, whatever it is. All right. Fine, but again in Selenium, you don't have to make interfaces. Everything is inbuilt. Okay, you have to understand the inbuilt interfaces. For example, WebDriver is the interface and all the driver classes, they have the same functions which are there in the WebDriver interface. That is why yesterday, when I had made the class Selenium Basics, the get function was there in every driver class. The get function was taking you to the yahoo.com website. Right. So whether it is Firefox driver or Chrome driver or iDriver object, the function names will remain the same. Right. For example, if I create a new class over here, just known as test.java, in this I can create the object of science book and storybook. Okay. So s1 dot print type, s1 dot print price are the two functions in it. And similarly, s2, the function names will remain same in both the classes, right? So when you run it, the respective functions of those classes will be called. So similarly, in whether it is Firefox driver or Chrome driver, the function names will remain same. Okay. So this is for sure that in every driver class, the function names are same. Okay. Now suppose I make a new class known as browser launch. I have to write a script in this way. Suppose I have a variable known as browser. Based on the value of this variable, okay, the value of this variable can be Mozilla, Chrome, or I. Okay, based on the value of this variable, I have to launch the browser. I should not be mentioning class implements WebDriver. All the driver classes which we studied yesterday, these Firefox driver, Chrome driver, these are the internal driver classes. They they are the non-implementing classes. They implement the WebDriver interface. I don't have to implement the WebDriver interface. Whosoever has made these classes, he has made sure that these classes they are implementing the WebDriver interface. Okay, right? Now, suppose the scenario is like this, that I have this browser Mozilla Based on the value of this parameter, I have to launch the browser, and the complete script should run on that particular browser. Later on, we can read this parameter from, say, um, Excel file or a properties file or some external file. Right now, I have kept this browser parameter. Fine. Okay. Now, if browser is equal to Mozilla, then I need to work with Firefox. Okay. In that case, I have to write this code. Just a minute. Let me add the Selenium jars as well in this. Yesterday I told you, right, how you can add the Selenium jars. Okay. And then else if the browser is Chrome, you have to launch Chrome driver. Just a minute. The advantage of interface is that there's a question being asked, what is the advantage of interface? The advantage of interface is that it gives a structure to the application. Okay, this was the book interface, and print price and print type were the two functions in it. So both the functions, the same functions will be there in both the classes, science book and storybook. This is the advantage. That is why all these driver classes which we have in Selenium, Chrome driver, Firefox driver, iDriver, all of them will have the same set of functions. Okay, this function names will be the same in all the driver classes because all of them are implementing the WebDriver interface. Whatever functions are declared in the WebDriver interface, these functions, they will be there in these classes. Okay, right. So now you can put else if browser, if it is I, then WebDriver dot I dot driver, and hold on. So you have to write the code for I. Now, does this mean that I should be having separate code for every browser? If after going to yahoo.com I have to print the title in Firefox, I will write system.out.println Firefox driver dot get title. In Chrome, if I have to print the title, then Chrome driver dot get. This doesn't make sense. I don't want to write individual. The function names are same. Get titles function name is same, but for Firefox driver, I have to call it with the Firefox driver object. For Chrome driver, I have to call it with the Chrome driver object. So I'm repeating code over here. Although the implementations, they are different. Okay, every driver class is implementing in a different way. Oh, sorry, every driver class is implementing the same interface. The function names are same, but I cannot manage this. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. So again, the answer to this problem, did you guys understand the problem? You guys understood the problem? Is there anybody who's right? So, right. Now the problem is that I have to write a separate piece of code for every browser, which is not good. I cannot get the title for every browser separately. So what we do is that out here there is again second advantage of an interface. Out here we had got two classes, Science Book and Storybook. Both of them had same set of functions. I could create the objects of these classes and call the function names. In yesterday's class, I told you that the objects, how they are made and what objects are. So I've created the objects of these classes. Fine. Now I'm going to create the object in a different way. Now listen to this carefully. Whatever I'm teaching you right now, at times, you know, people they tend to get confused on this stage. Okay, listen to this carefully what I'm doing. Right. Out here, I have this interface known as book. Book interface is being implemented by Science Book and Storybook classes. Right. I'm going to create the object like this. Book B equals to new Science Book. Now, this is different. This line is different than this line. It is different because over here the reference was of the Science Book class. Over here the reference is of the interface. Okay, that is why these two lines are different. But what is the advantage of using the second line? Why have I written like this? Okay, look, Science Book as a class has got two functions which are coming from the interface. Suppose there is a third function, for example, public void, say lab test, which is a proprietary function of the Science Book. It is not coming from the interface. Okay, this class has to have the functions which are coming from the interface. Apart from that, it can also have its proprietary function, which is its own function. Right. When I create the object of Science Book, I can call these three functions. But when I create the object like this, I can only call the functions from the interface, the functions which are coming from the interface. I cannot write over here lab test. It will give me an error. So over here, if I create the object with the reference of science book, I can actually call all the functions in the science book. Over here, only functions in the science book which are coming up from the interface. Okay. If I run this code, see it is printing for the last two lines, science book price and science book type. Similarly, I can write like this, book say B1 equals to new storybook. So only the functions in the book class, in the book interface, whatever the functions which are there in the storybook can be called with this. I hope you are understanding. Storybook price and storybook, the type is storybook. But what is the advantage of using this then? The reference of the interface pointing towards the object of the class implementing the interface. Okay. It will throw, and somebody is asking the question, please repeat why it will throw. It will throw the error because it's in Java. If you create the object like this, if you point the reference of the interface to the class implementing the interface, you can only call those functions which are there in the class coming from the interface. You cannot just call the proprietary functions, the functions which are proprietary to that class. You cannot call it in that case. This is a rule. Okay. Only the functions which are there in the book interface. Right. Now, why do we do this? What is the advantage of this? The advantage is B1 is pointing towards new storybook. Maybe on the next line, I can make B1 point towards new, oops, science book. Okay, B1 dot print price, B1 dot print type. Okay, let me put a demarcating line. So B1, oops, B1 was pointing towards new storybook. Okay, right. And B1 dot print price and B1 dot print type were the functions. And on 24th line, I make B1 point towards science book. So these functions from the science book will be called. So when I run this, you will see that the first two lines will print from the storybook and the next two lines will print from the science book. So one reference based on my choice, I can point it anywhere. Maybe I can write over here book B2 equals to null. That means B2 is not pointing anywhere. Okay, right. Yes, B1 is no longer pointing towards Storybook after 24th line. It is pointing towards Science book. So b1.print price and print type functions will print the values from the Science book. Okay, I can keep like this, book b2 equals to null. It is similar to this thing, right? If you have a variable, say in a layman's term, int I equals to 100, later I can put 200 in I, or later I can put 300 in I, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm making b1 point towards Storybook, and later I can make b1 point towards Science book or something. Okay, right. So book b2 equals to null I have written. Fine. And yeah, you can just reuse it. Yes, you can say it's reusable. Based on my choice, I can make book b2 point towards any object, whatever is my choice. Maybe it is Science book, or maybe it is Storybook. It's my choice. Look, the question being asked is Science book class and Storybook class both have same functions. Then what is the use of pointing B1 again to Science book? No. First of all, they both do not have the same functions. The names of the functions are same, but the implementations are different. Okay, Storybook class has got its own content inside print price. Okay. And Science book has got its own content. The names are same, but the inner content is different inside these functions. Okay, that's why when I run this, the output printing is different, right? For Storybook, it is printing Storybook. For Science book, it is printing Science book. When you go back after this class and do this yourself, this will be more clear. It's a history, everybody gets confused at this stage. Okay, in every class, it's not that everybody is okay with this concept. People do get confused. When you go back today, when you write the code yourself, you will realize. Now, book B2, as I told you, is null. Based on my choice, I can make book point towards Science book or Storybook if I write B2 dot print price over here, and the same command if I give over here. So the commands are same, but in the output, it will print, the first line will go to Science book, the second will go to Storybook. Now the advantages in Selenium, the advantages till now we have been creating objects like this. Firefox driver fd equals to new Firefox driver, or Chrome driver cd equals to new Chrome driver. We all know that, as I told you, right? WebDriver is the main interface, and all the driver classes, they implement the WebDriver interface, right? Okay, so I can write like this: WebDriver dr equals to new Firefox driver, and maybe on the next line I can make dr point towards new Chrome driver, because all the driver classes, they are implementing the WebDriver interface. I can make my WebDriver dr equals to null based on my choice, the way I did over here, big B2 equals to null. Based on my choice, I can make driver point towards Firefox driver or Chrome driver. Okay, the function names in the drivers will be the same. If I write driver.get http yahoo.com, this will take Firefox to yahoo.com. And if I give the same command over here, this will take Chrome to yahoo.com. The functions names will be remaining same because the same set of functions are there in all the driver classes. All the driver classes are implementing the WebDriver interface. Are you guys understanding what I'm trying to tell you? Right? So this solves the question which I had just put up. That will I be writing separate set of code for each browser? No. You will declare your WebDriver, say driver equals to null. And based on your choice, okay, you don't have to write these two lines over here. Based on your choice, you can make driver point towards Firefox driver or towards Chrome driver or towards I driver. Okay, and after that, you can write driver dot get to http say yahoo.com. So whichever browser you want, whichever website you want to go, you can go on that once your driver is launched. No, in Selenium there are no driver specific methods, Raghu. Okay, and probably you can get the title of the browser as well. The function names will remain the same once your driver is initialized. Okay, the function. So when I run this code, so this will go to yahoo.com on Firefox. Okay, and if I change this to Chrome and run the code, the same script will run on Chrome and take you to yahoo.com. So this is the main advantage of interface, that it can firstly it can help you to have the same set of functions in all the implementing classes. The names of the functions will be same. And secondly, you can dynamically open the browser as well. Okay, right. Now, the thing is, um, just a minute. Yeah, out here Once you have opened the browser, you have to, you have gone on the website, you have to identify the elements on the web page. Yes, you have to use system.set. This has got nothing to do. You have to give the paths of Gecko driver or Chrome driver exe files. You can just give these lines in the very beginning of the program as well, but it's mandatory to write, to give the paths of the exe files for the different drivers in your local system wherever is the exe line. Okay, you cannot skip these. Right now, you have to identify the elements on the web page, the buttons, the links. Okay, now in Selenium, everything on the web page, whether it is a button or a link, anything, or the regular text, is known as a web element. Okay, don't confuse this with web element of QTP. If you know QTP, then it's fine, it's good, but web element in QTP is very different than web element in Selenium. Everything on a web page, whether it is a button, a link, a text field, regular text, drop down, is known as a web element. Okay, and there is an interface representing the web element. There is a web element interface. Okay, represents a generic HTML element, and this interface has got functions which can be used on any element. For example, clear. The clear function can be used to clear the value of a text field. Click. This can be used to click on a link or a button anywhere. Find element. This can be used to go and find element. Okay, I'll tell you about these. Okay. Now there are various locator strategies with which you can find the elements on the pages. Right. Krishna, I will no, you don't have to do like this. There is no need in this version of Selenium. You don't need to write code like this. Right. Now out here, suppose this is simple situation. I have to go to this website in .rediff.com. 3.5.2, the latest version. I'm using the latest version. When you ask a question, please redirect it to everyone so that everyone is able to see that question. Right. Now, when you sign in, you have to enter the user ID and password. Okay. So suppose I have to write a script to enter the user ID and password on this page. Okay. Well, the first thing is that in your Firefox, go and install a plugin known as Firebug. Okay. Open Firefox, go to Google and type Firebug. I'll also talk about Chrome and I. Just give me some time. Firefox, and put an add-on in Firefox. Okay, this is the add to Firefox button. Add it. You will see a small icon out here. Once you click on this button, okay, you will see a Firebug icon out here. This is the one. Okay, right. So what you need to do is click on this Firebug icon. and there will be this arrow. When you click on this arrow and wherever you move the mouse, you will get the HTML code, the page source for that particular section of the page. For example, if you go to in.rediff.com and if you click on the sign in link, suppose you have to write something in the username field. You investigate the username field, move your mouse and click on the username field. It will get highlighted. Okay, this is the tag name. Whatever starts with the conical bracket is known as the tag name. The tag name for the username field is input. And these are the attributes: ID, max length, name, value, style, and all. Okay, so you have got tags, and a tag can have attributes. If you have ID attribute or a name attribute, it is really easy to identify the element. Not every element will have ID or name. For example, if I look at this rediff.com image on the top, it's an image tag with an attribute source. Krishna, it's not required. That is why I'm not using this. It is not required. Okay. We can do the capabilities object in the grid, but right now it is not required. When we'll do grid, we'll see this. Okay. So out here, the ID, we have seen that the username field has an ID. So it really becomes easy to identify it. So the command will be, suppose I have to go to the rediff.com page. So I'll give the URL of the rediff.com page, and I'll get the title of the page, and I'll give the command drive. Most of you must have seen this command, driver.find element. This command will go and find an element on the web page. An element can be button, any element. You have to give the criteria of finding that element. By is a class. sorry sorry Everything in that class is static in nature. I told you yesterday, right? Static stuff can be accessed directly with the name of the class. So driver.find element by ID, link text, name, partial link text, XPath. There are various these are locator strategies. That means the strategies used to identify elements. I'll take the easiest one, which is ID. By the ID, you give the ID from the web page. The ID is login1 for this text field. Driver.find element by the ID login1. So this will go and find the ID of the element with this ID and give you back the reference of web element interface. And what do you want to do with this element? You can write email dot send key. Send keys function is used to type into element. Okay, you write hello. Right. So I'll run this script on Mozilla. Send. So you extract the element first, you find the element and you type hello inside it. When you run this code, it will launch Firefox. See, it will reach here and type hello. Even if I run the script in Chrome, this script will work because The page source remains the same across different browsers. I had investigated it on Mozilla, but it is also working on Chrome, because on Chrome also the ID will remain same. If you want to inspect the elements on Chrome, then you can right click on the text field and you can see the inspect option. You can right click on any element. You will see the inspect option, and that element will be highlighted in the source. See that this is highlighted. Okay, it's similar to Firebug. There is an arrow over here. You can click on this arrow and you can move the mouse over the elements. Okay, this is known as Chrome Inspector. The shortcut to open this is F12. Okay, F12 of the keyboard can open the Chrome Inspector and you can inspect the elements. Similarly, in Internet Explorer also you have got Internet Explorer. You have uh, again the option to inspect the elements through IE developer tools. If you hit F12 in IE, again that will open up. Okay, F12 in Chrome or IE opens up, but it really doesn't matter. You can investigate the page in any browser and make the script. The script will run on all the browsers because the page source remains the same. Selenium will work on the page source. It finds the elements on the page source. Okay, right? Now the question comes up, what if there are two elements on this page with this ID? What if there are two elements on this page with the same ID? Well, first of all, that should not happen. In case it is happening, then please understand the point that Selenium, when it scans the page, okay, it scans the page from top left side to the right side like this. It goes down. And if there are two elements on the page with the same ID, say one is over here, the other one is over here, then Selenium will use the first one. Okay, Selenium will use this one. All right, and it will ignore this one. What if you want to use the second one? I will tell you later on how you can use the second one. But the find element function will find the first element. Okay, look, you can attach the Java docs. It's very important. You can attach the Java docs in Eclipse. You can import the documentation of Selenium in Eclipse. Okay, just go to the Java doc link over here and copy the link location, right? And you can go to your it helps a lot. I'll tell you how it helps. Okay, you first attach it, go to the properties and go to Java build path where all the jars are there. This is the main jar file of Selenium, client combined 3.5.2. Expand it and you can put the Java doc location over here. Remove index.html from the end. Please remove index.html. Click on validate. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, okay. Now if I say move my mouse over WebDriver, I'll get the description. This is the main interface used for testing, which represents all the web browsers. Okay, if I'm writing say driver dot, I will get all the functions and I'll get the description of these functions as well. So it helps a lot. If I have a web element and I write web element dot, so I get all the web element functions and I get the descriptions as well. If I click on any of the links over here, the Java docs will open up inside Eclipse. Okay, you can switch over to this frames view. It's better. It's got all the classes. So this helps a lot. Right. Look, guys, this has to come with practice. It's not something which will come to you directly. Okay. It has to come with practice. So this is the way to locate elements. The easiest way is if the element has got an ID or if the element has a name. For example, in Rediff only, hold on. If you look at the password field, then password field has the name password. So you can simply write web element password equals to driver dot find element. By which criteria? By the name criteria. And you can specify the name as password. Okay. And in the password field, you want to type something. So again, the command will be password dot send keys. Okay, whatever is the password. You can encode passwords as well with base 64 encoding. Okay, just search on Google base 64 encoding in Java, you'll come to know. Okay, so I'm executing it on Chrome now. So it works fine on Chrome. All right, because the page source is same, the name and the IDs, they remain the same. Now every time you won't get an ID or a name of the element. For example, this home link on the top, it's an anchor tag. All the links are always anchor tags. All the links on all the web pages, they start with the tag name A, anchor tags. So this has got no ID. This create new account link has no ID. So over here we use XPaths, we use CSS selectors. Fine. So we'll do everything. Okay. Right. Now, actually today I cannot take more than 1 hour class. I have to go somewhere. Okay. I know it's a 2 hour session, but today I have something urgent uh, on my way. Okay.